Do you know how many women walk through the world without realizing how extraordinarily captivating they are? And no, I'm not only referring to the physical. There is something infinitely more powerful than that. I'm talking about that subtle essence, that unique way of moving, observing, expressing, manifesting, that can leave a man completely bewildered, even though you may not even notice it. The most fascinating thing is that you often undervalue it yourselves. You think that because you don't fit into a certain established beauty standard, you can't be as seductive. But what truly captivates us goes far beyond a slim waist or impeccable makeup. It's that quiet confidence, that authenticity that cannot be faked, that vibration that is felt when you enter a space without needing to utter a single word. Today, I want to reveal to you the 10 most obvious signs that you are considerably more attractive than you think, and that men, even though we try to hide it, notice and experience deeply. Some of these signs are so subtle that you probably haven't even realized how impactful they are. But believe me, we do. Stay until the end of the video, because sign number 9 is often one of the most overlooked by you. But for us, it's one of the most irresistible. I guarantee it. After watching this content, you'll begin to see yourself from a different perspective. Sign 1. Men get nervous in your presence. This is one of the most genuine and simultaneously most underestimated indicators, because many times when a man behaves awkwardly, avoids making direct eye contact, or even appears slightly uncomfortable, you might interpret it as him not being interested. But in reality, the opposite is happening. He is fascinated by you more than he can handle. Notice when a man is attracted to a woman who dazzles him, his body betrays him. He starts doing things he wouldn't normally do. He touches his neck, adjusts his shirt, crosses and uncrosses his arms for no apparent reason, or begins to speak more quickly than usual, or more slowly because he's afraid of making a mistake. Sometimes he even remains silent, as if he doesn't know what to say to you. And it's not because he lacks personality or is insecure, it's because your presence destabilizes him. Because in fact, there are women who don't just attract physically, but they impose your beauty, your energy, your attitude. They can make even an experienced man feel out of place. What I'm trying to convey to you is that this discomfort is a powerful sign. If you notice that when you're near, a normally relaxed man becomes tense, changes his posture, or seems more focused on what he's doing than on what he's expressing, believe me, you are creating a deep effect. And the most important thing, don't try to dim your light so that he feels more comfortable. On the contrary, embrace that power. Because if a man gets nervous around you, it's because he sees you as someone who deserves much more than a trivial conversation. Sign 2. People repeatedly stare at you, even without saying anything. It may seem basic, but it's one of the most powerful and underrated signs. When a woman is truly attractive, even if she doesn't notice it, the environment notices. Maybe you think you are just walking, entering a coffee shop, or waiting in line. But from our perspective, something about you captures attention. It's not just that someone looks at you as you pass by. What's really significant is that second glance, the one where they've already moved forward and turned their head. Do you know what that means? That something in you left an impression that couldn't be satisfied with just a quick glance. That second look is the most sincere way a man, or even other women, confirm that there's something extraordinary about you, and it has nothing to do with wearing something flashy or being meticulously made up. Sometimes it's your way of walking, your posture, your calm yet magnetic energy. That which isn't forced but is perceived, because true attraction is not proclaimed, it's felt. Many women don't notice this because they are focused on their affairs, their phone, or simply reaching their destination. But if you've ever noticed that someone stared at you twice as you passed by, even without saying a word, believe me, that's an unmistakable sign that you possess something that impacts. Something inexplicable but evident. And yes, sometimes we are left with the desire to say something, but just with that second glance, we are confessing more than we believe. Sign 3. You underestimate yourself, but still receive constant compliments. This is one of the most obvious and paradoxical signs that you are much more attractive than you think. Has it ever happened that you don't feel particularly beautiful one day, and still, someone tells you that you look incredible? Or comments like, "I don't know what it is about you, but there's something about you that fascinates me." This is not a coincidence. It is a clear sign that you emit an energy that captivates even when you don't perceive it. And this is something common in authentic women who don't obsess over being perfect, but unconsciously awaken something in others. Maybe you think that day your hairstyle isn't the best, you don't have the ideal body, or your outfit isn't extraordinary, but still, compliments come. Why? Because your attraction transcends far beyond what you see in the mirror. As men, we notice that. Sometimes we can't explain it correctly, but we feel it. There's something in your voice, the way you speak, the way you laugh, the naturalness with which you move that makes us think, "This woman has no idea the impact she generates." And that, believe me, is one of the most magnetic things there is. The curious thing is that this contrast between how you perceive yourself and how others see you is what makes it even more powerful. Because you're not trying to impress. You're not forcing anything. You're simply being yourself. And that authenticity, combined with a natural feminine energy, creates an attraction that's hard to explain but impossible to ignore. So next time someone tells you that you have something special, instead of denying it or downplaying it, believe it, because that something is you. Sign 4. They seek you out for insignificant things. This is a classic that many women don't notice. When a man feels attracted to you but doesn't know how to approach you directly, he starts looking for any excuse to interact with you, and often these excuses are trivial, seemingly insignificant matters. Like asking about a specific task, if he needs you to explain something, if you can recommend something, if he can ask you for a quick favor. At first glance it seems coincidental, but believe me, it's not. We men, when we're attracted to a woman, look for excuses to start a conversation, to get close without it seeming like we're openly flirting, and this happens especially when a woman intimidates or imposes on us slightly, because we like her so much. We're not going to approach you directly with a compliment, but we will appear asking you about something insignificant just to be close to you. And it's not just a one-time thing. If you notice that the person often finds a reason to text you, call you, get close to you, or stay near you even for minor things, there's a clear sign. Because it's not about what they're asking for, it's about the underlying intention. Many times, you don't even notice it. Does it seem normal to you? It may even seem charming. But if you look closely, you'll notice that these little things are just the excuse for something bigger. Their need to be close to you, to connect, to get your attention. So next time someone asks you for help with something they could easily resolve on their own, see if it's also accompanied by a nervous smile, a different tone, or an intense gaze. Because sometimes a, "Hey, how do you do this?" really means, "I don't know how to approach you, but I want to be with you." Sign 5. Women criticize you without a true reason. Yes, I know. This part is not pleasant, but we must address it honestly. Because when a woman is truly attractive, not only physically, but in her presence, in her way of moving, in her energy, not everyone around her will accept it positively, and not because you're doing something wrong. In fact, you're often not even trying to stand out. But still, you may notice that some women look at you strangely, make passive-aggressive comments, or criticize you for things that honestly don't make sense, as if any aspect of you is excessive, too confident, too beautiful, too put together, or even too friendly. And I want you to understand this, that unjustified criticism is not related to you. It's related to how they feel when you're present, because your attractiveness can cause others, especially insecure women, to look at themselves more harshly, and this involuntarily generates a reaction. Has it ever happened that you were told things like, "How arrogant," when you hadn't even said a word, or that someone started competing with you in something you weren't even interested in contesting? There you have it. This doesn't mean that all women will react this way. There are many who, on the contrary, will admire you, be inspired by you, or want to be close to you. But when you start to notice unfounded criticisms, uncomfortable looks, or comments that try to diminish your shine, don't take it personally. Consider it a sign that you're shining more than you think. Because in fact, your energy, your presence, your way of being can make others uncomfortable when they don't feel secure with themselves. And although it's not fair, that's also one of the clearest signs that you are very attractive, even if you don't fully perceive it yet. Sign 6. They smile at you without knowing you. Has it ever happened that you're walking down the street, in the supermarket, or on public transportation, and suddenly someone, especially a man, gives you a smile for no apparent reason? He didn't say anything, doesn't know you, and isn't even trying to start a conversation. But he smiles at you, sometimes shyly, as if he's embarrassed you noticed, or other times more confidently, almost as if he's saying, "Wow, what energy this woman gives off." And although it may seem insignificant, it's not. That smile reflects what you project. Because when a woman is truly attractive, and remember, I'm not talking exclusively about physical beauty, it's transmitted, it's perceived. There's something in her way of walking, looking, and existing that just attracts. And that magnetism causes, without you saying a word, many men to feel the impulse to smile at you as a kind of silent greeting, like, "I like you, but I don't know how to approach you." And it's not a coincidence. It's one of the most subtle but most authentic signs that your presence leaves an impression. Because a spontaneous smile is not forced. It comes from the body involuntarily, and that's a direct reaction to the energy you unconsciously emit. So next time someone smiles at you without any apparent reason, don't dismiss it, don't ignore it, because probably it's not you trying to get attention. It's you generating it without even intending to. Sign 7. Men in relationships look at you more than usual. I know this point is delicate, and it's not necessarily something you'll appreciate, but it needs to be mentioned. When a woman is truly attractive, her energy does not go unnoticed, and occasionally even men who are in stable relationships avoid looking at you. I'm not saying that this is right or that you're provoking it, but it happens, and it happens more often than you think. You're at a gathering, walking down the street, in a cafe, and suddenly you notice that look, that one that lingers a bit longer than usual, the one coming from someone who is clearly not available. And even though they often try to hide it because they know they shouldn't be doing it, their body betrays them because attraction can't always be controlled, especially when it's triggered by something that goes beyond the physical, something that is felt. And this is where you need to understand something important. It's not you who's causing those looks. It's your essence, your presence, your way of being. It doesn't mean you should feel uncomfortable or guilty. On the contrary, it's clear proof that your feminine energy is powerful, magnetic, and hard to ignore. And yes, even by those who are supposed to do so. Sign 8. You receive a lot of attention on social media, even without exposing too much. This is something many men notice, and sometimes you don't understand. You post a simple photo, no exaggerated poses, not showing too much, not trying to grab attention, and still, the messages come, the likes multiply, the reactions don't stop. It feels familiar to you, and you wonder what's so special about this photo. But it's not about the photo, it's about you. When a woman is truly attractive, she doesn't need to expose herself to make an impact, because what captivates isn't just what's seen, but what is transmitted. Your authenticity, your gaze, your natural way of being. All of that creates a vibration that transcends the screen, and trust me, men perceive it. In fact, some even fear it because they don't know how to handle so much feminine energy in something so subtle. The most interesting part is that many of you don't realize it. You think you should do more, show more, dress up more. But your true power lies in that natural way of existing. It doesn't matter if you appear in a basic t-shirt, no makeup, or simply sharing your everyday life. That attention you receive without even looking for it is one of the clearest signs that you are much more attractive than you think. Sign 9. Men get confused by you. This is one of the most obvious signs, but also one of the most misunderstood by you. It's probably happened to you. A man treats you with a lot of attention, as if he's very interested. He seeks you out, talks to you, compliments you, and suddenly, out of nowhere, he disappears, pulls away. But not many days pass, and he comes back, as if nothing happened. Confusing, right? You wonder, is he playing with me? What does he want? The reality is this. Many times he's not playing. He's struggling. Yes, struggling with what he feels. Because when a man is truly attracted to a woman, especially if he perceives her as someone exceptional, that attraction can overwhelm him. He may feel intimidated, unsure of what to say or how to act. So he pulls away, not because he doesn't like you, but because he likes you too much. And that's the trap. You might think that he's not interested, when in reality, he's trying to figure out how to approach you without exposing himself. Some run away because they don't feel good enough. Others come back when they gather the courage. But all are revealing the same thing. There's something about you that confuses them. So the next time a man pulls away for no reason and later comes back as if nothing happened, watch him. It's not always emotional confusion. Sometimes it's pure attraction that he doesn't know how to manage. Sign 10. You don't realize your own power, and this is the most powerful sign of all, because there's something that happens more often than you think. The most attractive women don't know it or don't believe it. They go through life doubting themselves, comparing themselves, questioning if they're good enough when, in reality, they're the ones who make the difference. And I say this from this perspective, it's noticeable. It's noticeable when you enter a place without trying to draw attention, and yet you do. It's noticeable when you speak simply, without trying to impress, but you end up impressing more than anyone. Do you know why? Because you're not trying, you're just being. And when a woman lives this from authenticity, it holds extraordinary power. But here's the detail. When you don't see it, that power is only half-formed. It's like having a light on, but with a veil over it. When you begin to recognize it, without falling into ego, only with the certainty of your value, something changes. Your body language, your energy, your way of looking, everything aligns. And believe me, it's perceived. It's perceived from afar. So if any part of you still doubts what you emanate, remember this. Your power doesn't begin when someone else recognizes it. It begins when you accept it. Sign 11. Your absence is noticed even more than your presence. Let me explain. There are women who walk into a place and instantly attract attention. But there are others, and you're probably one of them, that when they leave a void. It's as if something turned off in the atmosphere. That warm energy, that way you make everything flow, suddenly isn't there, and we feel it. Maybe no one expresses it to you. Maybe you don't even notice it yourself. But trust me, when a woman is truly attractive, it's not just because of what she shows. It's because of how she makes us feel. And when that presence is no longer there, the contrast becomes evident. The conversations change, the dynamic cools down, and without knowing why, we think of you. That's what makes you unforgettable, because you don't just arrive. You stay in the memory, on the skin, in the thought, sometimes without trying, sometimes even without knowing. So if you've ever felt that someone is watching you as you leave, or that later they text you saying, "Hey, did you leave?" Don't ignore it. It's another way of saying, "Your presence moved me." And that's not faked, it's carried. Sign 12. Silences with you are not uncomfortable, they are intense. Listen carefully to this because few women notice it, but men experience it. When a woman is truly attractive, there's no need to fill every second with words. Her mere presence generates such a powerful, enveloping energy that even silence becomes magnetic. Has it happened that you're with someone and suddenly there's a silence, but he doesn't move, doesn't get distracted, doesn't check his phone. It simply stays there with you as if nothing more was needed. That's no coincidence. That's attraction in its purest form. And it's not that he doesn't know what to say to you. It's that he's processing what he's experiencing about you. Maybe he doesn't express it, but inside, he's thinking, why do I feel so good just watching her? How can someone impact me so much without saying a word? That comfort in silence, that intensity without effort, is only caused by a woman who radiates something beyond the physical. A woman who transmits serenity, depth, mystery, and without speaking, is already communicating so much. So if you notice there are silences between you and a man, and he doesn't pull away, doesn't feel uncomfortable, doesn't rush to change the subject, it's because your energy is already speaking for you. And when that happens, believe me, you've already won without even trying. Now I want to know something. How many of these signs have you noticed in your daily life? Has it ever happened that someone looks at you differently or that you get attention without understanding why? Share it with me in the comments because I want to hear your story. Sometimes what you don't notice in yourself, others are feeling intensely, and sharing it might help you recognize the power you hold within you. If this video made you see yourself from a different perspective, if it helped you understand that there's something in you that doesn't require explanation or approval, then don't leave without leaving a like, subscribing, and turning on notifications. Because here, we don't just talk about the superficial. We talk about energy, presence, and that magnetism that cannot be acquired or simulated, it's felt. Never underestimate what you radiate. Your way of walking, of looking, of simply existing leaves a mark. And often, while you question if you are enough, others are already longing for the opportunity to get closer to you. So yes, you are already more than you think, and this is just the beginning. See you in the next one.